Welcome to our podcast interview. You are joining us here at Agendr, and we are interviewing the very amazing Jillia Cato. Jillia, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for doing this interview with me today and sharing yourself with all of our viewers. Just to give you a little background, um, to the viewers back home, that is, Jillia Cato is a powerhouse of a woman when it comes to her roles and capabilities in the entertainment industry. She's known mostly for her energetic and enthralling performances, especially dance performances, but her abilities extend even further into singing, acting, choreography, teaching, and stage management. She's taught extensively with artists such as Marshall Montano, bands such as Kestipan, and has graced stages from the Black Box Theatre all the way to Madison Square. So, Julia, welcome again, and please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, and thank you. First off, I love what Agendr is doing. So yeah, hello to everyone who's listening. About me, right? Like you did not just say a lot.
It was just, a little appetizer for the people at home.
Yeah, I mean, but y'all didn't even tell me what you was gonna say. I feel special. Anyway, me, Jillia Cato. I am an artist to my core, a dancer, dance teacher, singer, songwriter, actor when the opportunity coordinates itself with my love path. Stage manager, production manager. I would say I'm a perpetuator of the performing arts, promoting that of the Caribbean diaspora because I like being Caribbean, keeping it 100, and a little eccentric. For those who know me.
Eccentricity,
very eccentric.
A very nice seasoning to have when you're coming from the Caribbean, makes you all the more special, So we here at Agendr, we are focusing on having a very nice space for women in the entertainment industry. And as a woman in the entertainment industry, occasionally find ourselves, facing certain obstacles, certain barriers, things that might, cause our progress to feel like it may not be going at the pace we want at certain times. So have you faced any barriers or obstacles as a woman in the industry, and how have you dealt with those?
But of course, I feel like everyone faces some obstacles, but women's are a little different, significantly different. Aside from being just a woman, I'm a dark-skinned young woman, and when I just got into the industry, I was like fresh meat, and give thanks to my parents. I feel like I'm a little cute and maintain that. And that, although it's a perk, is also a barrier. I grew up in the US, right? So North American culture. So interactions were a little weird, well, different to what the Caribbean is. And coming to Trinidad when I was like 5 or 6, it was a kind of culture shock. So that's something to just start with. Like that mental space for me was something very, very different. I always loved dance. So initially I gravitated to hip hop because that was the culture I came from. And I didn't quite understand the local, like Trinidadian way of creating art. Like whining was foreign to me, you know. But yeah, so it was two different things initially. So when I started to get into it more and I jumped over to the commercial side of dance, more than the hip hop, I realized a lot. Like everyone has a carnal side, but the art industry is quite expressive and definitely embraces like sensualities of human beings and often sexualizes it instead. Um, and being significantly educated outside of the arts, like just academics, engineering, physics, science, that kind of thing, that wasn't something people would have expected. So especially just, being a soca dancer, like, okay, that's all she's gonna do. She don't know anything else. So a lot of the awarenesses that I had, and it was overlooked. A lot of my knowledge was overlooked. And at the time, I thought I was just not good enough. Like just, okay, so maybe what I'm saying is just not important. But it's just, there was a barrier. the look of what I am and what I was doing was just like, why is she even talking about that? I'm not even gonna bother listening. How I dealt with it though was becoming more educated. I did my BFA in performing arts and dance and production management. So I had the lingo and I had the networking. I had the way of speaking. So something will catch them like, okay, maybe she actually knows what she's talking about,
Right.
And even in the stage management side of it, being a woman is like, yeah, she would know certain things. I'm like, yeah, I did engineering. I know structural terms. I know things. Maybe I might know more, but I can't just say that because there's that visual barrier of you're not supposed to know that. So getting over it is just saying what I'm saying and standing firm and eventually talk at around that, okay, maybe she knows what she's talking about. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Always a very wise way to go about things, making sure people know and appreciate your value and what you're adding to any production or event. But you mentioned at the beginning of that, that you are from the US, came to Trinidad, and now you are no longer located in Trinidad, you are in Canada. So how has
Yeah.
your move from Trinidad to Canada impacted you, your goals, or your career?
It's a different beast, but not a beast. It's like, domesticated. it, it's again a different type of culture shock. So US different to Trinidad, different to Canada. Like I've noticed that a lot of things that are taken granted for in Trinidad is not overlooked in Canada. Um, and it's a difference. It's a shocking difference. In Trinidad, it's like, okay, do what you can do as much as you can do. Forget about rest. It's a small island. You can get to different places quickly. It doesn't matter, sleep when you can. Which often lower the level of the product that you put forward. Meanwhile, since I've been here, a lot more attention is paid to the value of time.
Right.
So not only the time during creation or production or performance, but the time to get to the location that you have to do this work. All of those things are considered and taken very seriously. So whole Trinidad is like, oh yeah, Trinidadians always late. The difference here is that they factor in travel time.
Yes.
And even in their budgeting, aside from their timing, they budget everything in that respect. So they value what is done. They also value much more the educational factor, the work you put into getting where you are. So that increases the amount you're worth tangibly. And that's a serious difference and something that I have to unpack being here, so I might overlook something and they're like, no, you're supposed to be getting paid for that. I'm like, okay, like I talk to you for 30 minutes and they pay me for it because that's my time.
So you feel
That's
you
one of the
feel definitely
big,
more valued, more appreciated where you are now,
oh
whereas you
yeah.
didn't feel that same way. You felt more barriers in Trinidad.
Yeah, I mean the first acting production I did here, they were on their P's and Q's. They're like, is it okay if we sit next to you? It's like, I'm like, dude, it's cool. It's like, are you okay with this? Do you like this color? Are you okay wearing this color? We can change the wardrobe. I'm like, dude, it's fine. It's your production. If I have a problem, I will let you know. But they cater. And again, there's a lot of rules in terms of standards, restrictions. So they adhere to laws like in a different way. Also, they are very focused on diversity. So respect is given to everyone equally. And if it's not, there's a law for that.
Well, that's something that I hope we could aspire to in Trinidad and very soon.
I've been trying. I've been trying. That's
We'll
something
get
like,
there. We'll get there. I think
yeah.
collaborations, with
Yeah.
persons like yourself, Agenda, these type of things that really help to place value upon women and our contributions. They will essentially make or start making the changes, planting the seeds of change. But speaking of change, you started off doing dance, or at least most people know you for doing dance, but you're not just a dancer, as I mentioned. So, what motivated you to expand on yourself from just doing dance into singing, into acting, into everything that you actually do?
Um, hmm, expanded in terms of, I would say expanded in terms of what people know, because I never stopped. It all happened at the same time. um, just loving the arts, singing and dancing at the same time, being in theatrical productions in school or composing for the thing, has always been there. But I gravitated to dance more because I suppose that's where I fit as a young, pretty woman, young lady. It was an easier way to get forward, without having to do other things. And I did try to push forward as a singer, working with producers then, but everyone I spoke to wanted me to sing soca. I guess because of the things that I do, I guess I would have fit. But again, I was coming from a North American culture. So soca just sounded like noise. I didn't understand the value of the culture yet. And
Right.
I didn't really talk very Trini. So I felt like it wasn't gonna work out, me
You
singing
didn't sell
soca.
the authenticity.
Yeah, and I'm about being authentic to who I am. And if I can't put it out on stage and I can't show it, I can't do it. So dance actually carried me through school, and it was my money maker. It paid my rent, got me food, it paid my doctor bills, bought me books, paid my gas. And it was at some point when I was doing my BFA in UTT, being really around all the artists make me miss being able to put as much energy into my music, even though, I was singing and I sang in weddings at casinos and all kinds of open mics where I actually met you, Carrie, many, many years ago
Very
when we were
true.
all very milky.
Very true.
Um,
Very true.
so yeah, I was doing all that, but it was little spurts of being around the different facets of arts. But being in school was like violins in the corridors, and I'm like, yes, this is my life. And I started to push performing more, and randomly, I don't know how, I was nominated for best crossover artist, best new crossover artist, or something like that, with the Trinidad and Tobago Caribbean Music and Entertainment Awards. And I'm like, oh snap, people noticing. So I guess I should actually produce a song, because at that time I hadn't produced anything. I was just performing live. So no one could have accessed the music. So I'm like, all right, no. All right, dance is taking off. I don't need to pay that much attention to that. That's just rolling on its own. So let's just get the ball rolling on music now. That's what happened.
Nice, nice, nice. I mean, it's always good to have that catalog of artistic expression that people can call upon, that you can demonstrate, what you are about, what you represent for yourself, and where your art really comes from. But
Yeah.
you are in a very unique position where you can flex your muscles both on the artistic side as well as the technical side of a production. What does that mean to you as a woman, being able to basically be on both sides of a production, artistic, technical, or otherwise?
As a woman, it makes me feel pregnant with creativity.
I like that phrase.
Yeah, because it's like, think of the terms of pregnancy, right? Like, you have the seed of creation, and then things are happening that people don't see, that make this thing form before it's even observed, or like, hey, I think they have an idea. It's already in works, you know, before you go to sponsors or go to sellers and stuff. Like it's already happening, and I'm seeing all that's necessary before it's even ready to present itself to actors and singers and composers. And then going into that barrier and then seeing the interactions of the actors and the composers and the writers. Well, not even the actors yet, the composers and the writers and the designers, and seeing that it just bloom and blossom. It's amazing. And then acknowledging the importance of each step and how everything is intertwined in a way that where one falls, one either has to pick up, but that still wouldn't be enough. Everybody has to rise, you know, to the occasion. Like step your game up, do what you're here to do. And then taking it to the rehearsal processes is like seeing what the core of idea even further branches off. So now it's like the leaves or the toes and fingers coming to fruition. And when it gets to like technical side, you have the doctors and the nurses and the equipment all there ready to be like, yeah, we're ready, who's going to catch it? You know, like the whole family waiting outside in the lobby or in the lobby, like literally the lobby, waiting to see what this child is like, what is this creation? And then it's put on stage and the dry run, the Lamaze classes.
Yeah.
What could go wrong? Like, what do we need? Pack the baby bag. Like, what's happening? Like, the stage manager with the first aid kit, we ready for whatever could happen. And then the show, the nerves, the everyone has the nerves. The box office, the actors, the director, everyone is just on edge, you know. And this is just not for theaters, for anything. If you're talking about these sound engineers, like, oh God, I hope we stack this thing right. Like, knowing every part of it makes you understand almost the inner workings of the universe of performance and how important it is that everyone is comfortable in their space enough to produce what they have to produce, so that when the entire family that's in the lobby waiting, who have been supporting or just, you know, macking, when they come, let them be as thoroughly satisfied as the person was when they had the first thought to create this thing, if that makes sense. So it really excites me.
It's a really
exciting.
wonderful analogy in terms of, you know, how everything comes together, how contributions breathe life into each other and then create this amazing piece of art or production or show or song or dance, or it is the essence of everything that we do, you know. And everything that you were saying just now reminded me of a very nice quote that I will take from Pat Bishop. Until all have crossed, none have crossed, and some we have to carry. And you made me think of that just now, that every person's contribution is really what makes, you know, the curtains go up, the curtains come down, and makes the show as amazing as it really is. So that contribution is very important from every single person. So I have to ask you, what would you like to see your biggest contribution to arts and entertainment as?
Um, what I want to see as my biggest contribution?
Yes. What would you like to see as your biggest contribution?
Are all about the youth. Like I'm seriously about the youth. Most of my decisions have been made thinking that some little kid is seeing me somewhere, um,
Yeah.
doing something, and I want to just show that anything is possible and everything is possible, and not to feel limited. You're only limited by yourself, because you know, I didn't study each aspect of everything, but I learned through lived experience, you know. And I'd like that to be everyone's experience in life, because it will help everyone, including yourself. Like that, it's a big deal. It will help you through life in whatever you do, in arts or not. So I think my contribution would be the hope and belief of greatness.
I like that. I like that. So, what advice would you give to those young persons who are looking on and are inspired by your journey?
Um, don't doubt the wisdom you already gained in whatever days and years of life that you've had, because don't neglect the fact that you've been learning even when you thought you wouldn't. There's innate wisdom, and there's lived wisdom, and there's learned wisdom, and people gonna put you down, but it's cool. That's just gonna help you know what you don't know, because you won't know what you don't know. So take that and push forward with it. And the things that bother you that you really don't, like, I don't know this. And some things you wouldn't know and you really wouldn't care to know. But the things that you don't know and it bothering you and you want to know, that's the thing that you should follow. Because that's what's in your heart.
That's some great advice.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
laugh be
now
like.
let's get a little personal. What is your
Mhm.
peeve in the workspace? And of course, I mean, we know you have like a bajillion roles already in arts and entertainment. So this might be a lot of different pet peeves for each one of your different roles. But what really irks you when you get on a show or production or rehearsal or practice or even in your private time, which might just be a private workspace?
Um, I think all my pet peeves kind of boil down to inconsideration, inconsideration to the thing that is life. You know, it could be the you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And yeah, you know, everyone has something that they're going through, and it might be something that they're going through that they're not doing it, but please have some consideration that there's a ripple effect, or in consideration that someone is not feeling well, in consideration that someone is feeling really good about their self, and you know, you just slap that down, like, in consideration. Like there's a lot of people are self-focused,
Right.
which is not bad, but in something like the arts or in any workplace, it's not only about you. To yourself it is, but everyone is part of something bigger. And the inconsideration of that fact is a big pet peeve for me, regardless of where you are. Like, that bothers me a
I can
lot.
understand because I mean we just spoke about how much this is a collaboration and a collaborative
Yes.
effort from everybody. So you know that something like that will in effect affect everyone on any type of show or production or team for that matter of fact. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's a
still
big one.
sticking with the personal stuff, not too personal because you know you don't want to get too personal in here. Tell me about your top three most memorable performances or moments in your career thus far. And they can be in different categories if you want. You know, it could be one singing moment, one dancing moment, one acting moment, or they could be all three across one of your roles if you feel so moved.
Okay, so the first one that jumps to mind is a kind of a smash up of two performances that is just, it's a lead up. So it was my first time singing with Kes on his song Island Love, and baby, just that song. He
Yeah,
asked me to sing with him at Best Buy Theater in New York, right? And I guess it went well, and he asked me to do it again in Tobago Jazz, which
nice.
I did, which was the opener for Janelle Monáe. Oh my
Sharing the
God, that was,
stage with that morning.
and she passed right next to me. Oh, she's so short. Oh, she smells so good. Like, I
Fan
have
moment
met,
here, fangirling.
no, like totally. I have met so many celebrities, like Snoop Dogg and Wyclef and T-Pain and you know, like celebs. But something about Janelle Monáe and her artistry, I just smell. I couldn't even say hi. I couldn't even exhale. Anyway, okay, so that's one. And then she sang so good. Anyway, right, so that's one. Two would be my debut of my first EP, Black Cinderella. That was a big deal for me because I invested everything that I had in that production of the EP and the performance. It meant a lot to me. It was also a farewell to Trinidad for a moment. And it was everything that I dreamed of, everything that I wanted. And it was a big venture and it was a big moment for me personally. It was like, it was so much support and everything that I said about like consideration was there. So it was wonderful for me. That was a great moment for me. And right, when I got here, when I got to Canada, the first class that I taught was at the University of Toronto, and it was with the artistic director who invited me here, Kevin Ormsby of Cache Dance. So I walked in like, okay, it's freaking cool. Take off all my layers. I'm ready to get this thing started. Dance space, good. And he introduced me similarly to what you did here. And I'm like, okay, all right. I thought I was just going to teach dance. And everyone's face just like jaw dropped and had like sparkly eyes at me. And it was in that moment, I was like, oh, you know what? I never really paid attention to my accomplishments and what it looks like in the eyes of people who have never met me or know nothing about me aside from my introduction. That was a whoa, okay. I know I'm something, but shit, I'm something. so, so yeah, that was the most recent one where I got to acknowledge my worth in a ways that I just was too humble to do, I guess. And that was humbling in itself. Is that weird? Does that feel like a 22, catch 22?
No, it's good to look at your growth and how you've developed over time. And, you know, sometimes you might still be stuck at seeing yourself at one place and not realizing how much you've worked on, how much you've developed, how much you've grown through the years and through your own artistic expressions, you know, and how people perceive you afterwards. And it's good to take a step back and look at that reflection so that you can definitely say, you know what, I am who I am, and this is what I present to the world.
Yeah.
So tell us now, using just that phrase, I am. I'd like you to finish that sentence to me. I am. Sterling.
I am.
Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
yes.
Sorry.
I feel like I'm to the front of the class, like I didn't do my homework. um, I am content with myself and the artist I continue to grow to be, the dancer, singer, production team member, creator, and collaborator. I am art. I am Jillie from Trinidad, Cato.
Love it.
That's what they call me, Jillie from Trinidad.
Jilly from Trini. Well, yeah, because you're not in Trini. No one in Trini would call you Jilly from Trini because we're all from Trini. But thank you so much, Jilly from Trini. Thank you for for sharing with us here at Agendr. You know, who you are, what you're about, where you're going, your contributions, what you hope to give back, you know, and share with everyone. Um, I want to keep this short and sweet so you know we don't lose our viewership, but also so that all of the viewers who are seeing you right now could continue looking at you with those sparkly eyes that you were talking about before. Yeah. But before we go, please tell us, where can we find your music? Where can we find Black Cinderella? Where should we look out for you next?
You can find Black Cinderella on most online platforms, iTunes, Amazon Music, Spotify, Shazam, like yeah, but you can buy it on Amazon Music and iTunes. And look out for more things happening. There's some COVIDian projects that are coming out. I've been locked up in a room, so I've been using my voice as an instrument. So some interesting things have been happening with that. and
Nice. Very happy to
collaboration.
hear that.
Yeah. Some long time collaborations that have been in the making too for many years. So I'm excited.
Nice. Well, thank you very much, Jillia. It has been a pleasure to have you with us here at Agendr. And we look forward to maybe interviewing you in the future or having you, show us some more of your work. Yeah.
But of course. Thank you, Carrie from Agendr.
You are
Is there a special way to say it or just Agendr?
Agendr. You could
Okay.
say it with as much attitude as you like.
I don't really have attitude. Unless it's performance mode, I could do it.
Folks.
But I'm not in performance mode, so Agendr will work. I done. I said, okay. Okay, bye.
That's all for now, folks. Thanks for signing in with me and Jillia. It's been a great one. Bye.